Hi everyone. In this demo, I'll walk you through the Hanaya routing optimization solution and the overall project end to end, including the automatic network creator. So, the goal of this project is to automate the complete GIS workflow for logistics and distribution use cases, from data extraction to network dataset creation, locator creation, all the way to the publishing services like route locator, closest facility, and the vehicle routing problem VRP on RJS Enterprise. So I'll start with the architecture diagram and then I'll show the published services, then a sample route output, and finally I'll show you how ANC automates the entire pipeline through the UI. So let me start with the architecture diagram. So at the high level, ANC is built with a clean layer design. So it's easy to maintain, extend, and operate. So at the top, we have the UI layer, which is what the operator uses to trigger the runs, select plans, and monitor the status. So the UI talks to the backend through the API layer. And in the middle, we have the application orchestration layer with the controller manager that coordinates the workflow. You can see a central manager which calls the individual service for each step. So those services include the extraction service, locator calculation service, so network service, publishing service, and processing service. So extraction service is used to pull and prepare the required GIS datasets. The network service is used to build and update the network dataset. The location calculation is for calculating the location details, and the locator service is to generate locators for geocoding, and the publishing service is to publish or update the ArcGIS services, and the processing service is to keep and run the state consistent and auditable. So below that we have the data layer. This is where we access the relational database like SQL Server for process tables, run history, and monitoring the statuses, and the ArcGIS geodatabase for feature classes, network datasets, and locator artifacts like .loc and .loz files, and that separation is important because we keep operational tracking in SQL while the GIS artifacts remain in the geo database. So on the right side, we have the config loader. So with all the settings, map versions, plant settings, and environment settings. So this is how we keep the system flexible without hard coding any values and credentials. So and finally, we have the dedicated ArcGIS licensing component. Before we run any ArcPy operations, we validate and check out the right licenses to avoid failures in the middle of the pipeline. So overall, the UI triggers the run, the manager orchestrates the services to do each step, and the repositories update the databases, and ArcGIS and ArcPy produces and publishes the final services by checking out the license. So let me quickly go to the ArcGIS server manager where we can see all the published services. So, so the key services we publish here are the locator, route, CF, closest facility, VRP, vehicle routing problem, and GPVRP as a geoprocessing tool, a web tool. So locator converts an address into longitude and latitude, critical for customer delivery points, depots, and stops. So the route generates turn by turn routes between the stops and returns the directions, travel time, distance, and maneuvers. So the closest facility here is used for scenarios like finding the nearest depot or nearest service center or dispatch nearest truck for the new subscribers that come in. And the vehicle routing problem, it solves the multi-stop, multi-vehicle optimization, minimizing the total time or cost while respecting constraints like time windows, capacities, and depot start or end timing rules. So one major advantage is these services are available through standard rest endpoints, so external systems can consume them easily, like a web application, or mobile delivery app, or ERP integration, or any planning system that they are currently using. So they can consume this REST URL directly and get the output, the JSON outputs. So you can pass the inputs like stops, barriers, travel modes, and parameters, and the service returns structured JSON outputs that can be directly consumed downstream. So now let me show a real output example. This is the sample generated route book produced when we call the route service. So you can see the route is not just one line of map. It includes the ordered list of stops, total number of total distance and travel time taken to complete the complete route, and step-by-step maneuvers like turn left, merge, continue straight, um, along with street names, directions, and the time we have to consume in that direction, and the time taken for that stop, and the SR standard maneuver type here, SR DMT turn left. So this is exactly what the dispatch teams and the driver apps need. So the same output can be visualized on a map, printed as a route book, or fed into any navigation experiences or any navigation apps that the current logistics provider is using. So now, here's the key part, and where the in a real enterprise setup, these services are not created once and forgotten. So they need to be refreshed frequently when the new map version comes, or any streets or restrictions change, or new plants or depots are added. So any locator inputs were updated, or when publishing environments change, these services has to be republished with the all these updates. So without automation, the maintaining all this becomes a manual and error prone process, especially when you scale across many plants or depots. So that's why ANC exists. So it automates the complete workflow from extraction till publishing consistently and repeatably. So the ANC standardizes the pipeline as first it loads the plant process configuration, it extracts and prepares the GIS datasets, and then it will build or update the network dataset and generates the locator and publishes the locator route, CF, and VRP and related services. So and it can track all the statuses and logs in the database for visibility and the audit. So now I'll explain all the capabilities and all the features of the UI. So at the top, the UI connects to the backend using the base URL. And when we give the API key, we can click connect. It will be connected. So when we and we can also select the map version from the database. I have currently selected 2025, and when I click load, I'll get the snapshot of the database. And when I click any plant here and click create, it'll start the whole process pipeline, right from creating the extracting the data and creating the network data set, and then creating the locator and publishing the services. And we can also see all these statuses real time in this process DB table. So this pulls the latest plant process rows from the database and shows the current snapshot time here. And in this table, each row represents a plant process record, including the plant, environment, the run number, the run GUID, and the status of the major pipeline components. So you'll notice the components like NDS status, locator calculation status, and the service status. So this is important because it gives a at glance visibility into where the plant stands, where something is completed, in progress, or failed. So the refresh DB button reloads this process table whenever plant is being run. So the refresh when the refresh is done, we can see the updated values in real time in this process db table. So if I click plant number and then click create, it'll start the process. So we can see the job status and the job state here, and we can see the real time logs here popping up, and at the same time the logs will be saved into the database SQL server. So let me click plant 159 and then click create. So it is running now, and we started seeing the logs. And once all the whole pipeline is run, the row updates with the latest run GUID and the component statuses. So operations team don't have to check multiple systems. So we also have controls like delete and cancel, which uh, which supports the operational management, like removing or an incorrect record or stopping a run depending on the policies. So the overall the UI turns a complex RGIS operational workflow into a simple, trackable, repeatable process, and the backend ensures consistency, logging, and proper integration with RGIS Enterprise. So once the whole pipeline is run, we can go into that plant 159 folder, and we can see all the services published here automatically. So yeah, to summarize the whole solution, we publish and maintain the core logistic services like locator, route, closest facility, and vehicle routing problem. And the ANC automates the full life cycle from extraction till publishing with strong tracking and repeatability. So yeah, that's it about the whole solution. And thank you for watching the demo video. And we are happy to walk you through the deeper technical details or any additional environments if needed. Thank you.